Cam Whitnall,
How we doing?
welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you are the honorary first guest on this podcast. So congratulations and
Thank
welcome.
you.
And as I just said, this is a podcast without a name at the moment, so we'll workshop something there. I'm thinking maybe something punny on the name with Ross or Neil, maybe Ross Examination perhaps.
Oh, there we are. I like it.
What's the deal with Ross Neil? Something like that, but we'll see.
What's the deal with Ross Neil?
Out of those two,
I quite like what's the deal with Ross Neil. Intriguing.
Yeah, it might be. I think I might go for that, but again, we'll maybe sort that out later. But look, first one for you, because I was trying to think of how to intro you. You do so many things. How do you, if someone asks you, what do you do, Cam? What do you say?
I always struggle. I don't really know. I've kind of fallen into a place where I'm doing all sorts of things. So obviously I live at a zoo and my family own Hertfordshire Zoo and the Big Cat Sanctuary. So I have roles at both sites, which is my full-time job. And it's kind of, it's weird to say, not float around, but I kind of dip my toes in a lot of the aspects of both businesses. Like right now we're doing, I'm the project lead to rescue 5 lions from Ukraine for the sanctuary, and also building a brand new rescue centre for them. So, and if I'm not doing that, then maybe I'm doing other projects at the zoo. So you've kind of got that aspect of it. I've got a TV show of my brothers on called 1 Zoo 3 on CBBC and BBC iPlayer, wildlife TV presenter, and I've got cool opportunities from that. I'm a Nikon wildlife photographer, so get to go around with Nikon and take pictures of animals. Last year I was in, where was I last year? In Sweden and where did I go? Austria? Yeah, I think so. This year I've got
Was that the chipmunks?
Ground squirrels and
Ground
marmots.
squirrels.
Yeah, that was quality.
That was a good post. I like that.
Thanks, mate.
Who would have thought that little ground squirrel was
It was cool. It's
People loved it.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about that more actually later on. But yeah, so and then even this year I've got some cool trips lined up with them. I guess like social media creator.
Yeah. Would you say influencer?
Yeah, I guess I'm influencing people in that respect to like animals or learn something about animals and what I get up to. So yeah, maybe social media influencer on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Like about just over 1.5 million followers across my account. So, and I do all sorts on there. Conservation, wildlife photography, important topics about white tigers and the truth behind them, and I kind of do a bit of everything. Some of my trips abroad to like Kenya to meet some of the amazing people out there and the work's being done to protect wildlife. So yeah, I kind of just float around just doing all sorts. I don't know, what would you say?
It is hard. I think wildlife enthusiast and personality, I don't know. It's actually very hard because, I mean, that's almost like a 2 minutes and we've just about scratched the surface of kind of what you do. I don't think you'd be conservationist.
I talk, obviously, like, we do conservation work. I don't think I could get away with saying I'm a conservationist. It's not my full title, but I do conservation work.
Yeah, I was going to say, in a way, the amount you will do for conservation will be a lot, but actual conservation work is quite...
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll get hands-on in Japan later in the year with giant salamanders.
Really?
With one of the projects out there, which is exciting, and obviously tell their story through social media. So,
are they endemic to Japan?
Yeah, Japanese giant salamander. Then you got the Chinese giant salamander.
Oh, really?
But critically endangered. I mean, they're amazing species, so I get to see what's being done. But obviously, they're under severe threat. So I'm going to go learn a lot more about what's happening to them and their decline and how people can help, really. Yeah. So, and I also film and all of my own stuff. So
I think it's fair to say pretty much most of the things you do are your passion.
Yeah.
You don't have to do too much that is not in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. Yeah, I said it, like I have 2 family businesses, so I work with my brothers and my mum and dad, who are like my best friends. I'm a granddad who still comes to work every single day. I'm extremely close to him and my nan. So yeah, I get to have that family side of things, which is great. And then obviously everything I do is embedded with wildlife. Like, I love animals. Some say I'm a loser, but all I ever do is talk about animals. So yeah, I do what I love, and I'm very fortunate. I've been in a fortunate position since I was young. Obviously, growing up on a zoo, and kind of just carried that with me until today and far into the future.
And was there ever any other option other than wildlife?
Yes and no. I mean, I remember when I was like 5 and I used to draw up. I still actually have it at home. Just. Lists of animals that we should protect, and I used to sit on my granddad's lap and I wrote like 100 animals, and then I had my top 5 favourites, which was like back when I was 5, emperor penguin, blue whale, Fiji banded iguana, kinkajou, and African lion.
Oh wow, they are all still around.
Yeah, but I just really liked them when I was like 5. So I was like, yeah, them, especially Fiji banded iguana. I was obsessed with them as a kid. Their quality, they're beautiful. Basically, for a while, me and my brothers all went off to uni to just do different topics. Just as a backup option if things didn't quite work out with the zoo and sanctuary, it was important to have that. Like safety. So we all went off and got our own degree. I did it in TV production, Tyler did it in business, and Aaron did it in sports broadcast and journalism.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and I studied TV, and that was kind of I guess why I know my way around the camera and editing and all of that world.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Going back to your granddad there, he was the one who bought what was Broxbourne Zoo a long time ago. How long ago was that?
1984. It's a good story. It is a really good story.
Well, I actually, you may not know that I volunteered at Paradise Wildlife Park while I was playing at Saracens for a bit.
Yeah.
And they actually give you the initiation story of the zoo, but I think it will come a lot better from you.
Yeah.
So take you through it.
Yeah, so my nan and granddad ran a very successful coach and bus company in London, and back in the day, this was in early 1980s, they were looking for somewhere to park their bus and coaches, and my nan was looking around and she found a nice bit of land which was on a zoo. It was Broxbourne Zoo at the time. It was the worst zoo in the UK. It was atrocious. It was awful, and it's probably why a lot of zoos get bad rep, and that was in the 80s though. And they had like a chimpanzee that was chained up and smoking. They had like one baby elephant. They had just a really random mix of animals, a lot of them chained up or in just terrible conditions. And they had a lion called Bobby the lion, very famous lion, and he lived in a concrete block with like scaffolding posts, like 4x4 meter, probably that big, and that's all he ever known his whole life. He was 12, and my nan and granddad, purchased some of the land to park their buses and coaches, and kind of thought, this is sad, and maybe it's time for a change. Maybe we'll sell off our company and invest the funds and buy the zoo and give the animals a better home. And it was the complete definition of winging it from my granddad and nan's side, like, because my granddad had never seen a tiger before, like, or a lion or anything, and then he's seen them all, and it's just, that's the power of animals, right? That's the impact that they have, is that you completely fall in love with them and want to work with them or do something to be around them. That's what I feel anyway. And yeah, so they decided to sell off their company, buy the zoo, and their first job was giving Bobby the lion a brand new home. So they built this beautiful new enclosure for him back then in the 1984, and it was the first time he ran on grass.
Really?
He ran out and he was running, and everyone said it. I mean, I wasn't there. Like, I just watched the video, but the video just shows he looked very happy, and everyone that was there that built the habitat was really happy. And it was interesting as well, because they had animal rights activists like on the front gates with placards being like, the zoo needs to close down and stuff, and they just stuck to their guns and they just cracked on, tried to give the animals better homes, and they did that, and the animal rights very quickly went away, and they realised that my granddad and nan weren't doing it for entertainment, they were doing it to give the animals a better life. And I guess in 2000, through my granddad's passion of big cats, he set up a big cat sanctuary in Kent, which is home to big and small cats, from servals, lynxes, rusty spotted cat, which is the smallest cat in the world, to the big big cats, your Asiatic lions, Yama tigers, Martian tigers, jaguars, and snow leopards. And yes, it's really beautiful, and amber leopards. Yeah, it has a bit of everything, and that's a centre of excellence, you know, where we do, it's kind of like a hybrid site in a way. Like we do rescues, but we also are a part of the endangered species breeding program, because that is also key to survival of many animals. So yeah, did that in 2000, and you know, we've grown up at both sites our whole life, and we've kind of followed in their footsteps, which is, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's a hell of a story.
It's cool. It is cool.
I think that I mean, it's almost like a TV show growing up on the zoo, and now you do actually have your own TV show as well with 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And did that come about as a bit of a shock when it came in?
I guess, like, me and my brothers always said, it's quite a cool story. Like 3 brothers, all have lived and grown up on a zoo and have a sanctuary, and we do trips around the world for conservation, which link directly to both sites. So we always kind of thought, you know, like, it would make a good series, but did we ever expect to get one? Absolutely not. Like, and also I definitely didn't want to be in front of camera. Tyler definitely didn't want to be in front of camera. Aaron was always born to be in front of camera. But yeah, we never really expected it to go that way. And we did a drive for wildlife trip, which Tyler set up with his best mate Red, who was marketing at the time at the zoo, and we won a grant to pretty much drive around East Africa, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania and Kenya, stop off our conservation partners and you know, donate funds and equipment, but also tell their stories and raise awareness through social media and you know, what's going on over there. And me and my brothers, and we went over and did that, filmed it all with our best mate Will, who has his own production company. We took all the gear out there, you know, the red cameras, all the drones, everything possible. And then I started chopping it up when we got back into edits, and we started like marketing it out there to show people, you know, the good work being done in East Africa to protect and conserve species, and for our partners. And yeah, had a knock on the door. Quite a few production companies were like, should we commission a show? We'll try and get a commission. And we were like, yeah, fine, like, that'd be great. And it got some interest, and we had a meeting with Wendy Dark. She's unbelievable. She's the big dog of the industry and wildlife. And she has her own production company called True to Nature. She was in natural history before that, and yeah, we had one meeting with her for a friend called Tom Jarvis, who's also produces wildlife TV shows. And yeah, he set us up a meeting, met her for like 10 minutes in London, and we told her the story, and she just blew us away. Like in 10 minutes, she was just incredible, and we all left that meeting going, we want to work with her. She's the best. And then she was like, she didn't promise anything. And it wasn't actually, she wasn't even saying like she's going to try and, you know, pitch us to places. She was just giving us advice. But then I can't remember how soon after she was like, I want to pitch you guys. I actually believe in your story. I want to, you know, pitch you. And then we hadn't heard anything. And I stopped working. I actually went traveling for a bit just to, you know, do it before I got older. And I went away for a few months, and then I came back because of COVID. And then we got a call from Wendy being like, right, guys, the BBC want to commission, like, you know, a pilot series, 5 episodes, 15 minutes. We can film it for a month. We're just gonna hire one director to just follow you around called Hannah. She was amazing, and we're just gonna see where it goes. And we're just like, screw it, we're in. And me and my brothers, we did those 5 episodes, and now later this year we're gonna be on season 5. So yeah, it's going very well. It's very cool. We had a spin-off series called OZT Goes Wild in Britain, which is like kind of like Top Gear meets Country File meets Springwatch sort of vibe, which was really cool. Just talk about our native species. And yeah, been with True to Nature. We love them. Amazing what they do. And she also did kind of discovered Deadly 60 as well with the BBC. So, you know, she knows.
I remember that.
Yeah. So
is that Steve Batchel?
Yeah.
That was Steve Batchel. I remember that one. That was a good show.
Yeah. He's still doing it. He's still smashing it. Yeah.
God, that could be you.
Yeah.
How many later? He must have reached 60 by now. He must have.
Him?
Yeah, how many? I thought the whole thing was there were 60 deadly animals.
Oh man, they've gone on and on. Like they've gone
through it a few
They've
times.
gone like most animals, but yeah. So we've been doing that quite a while. We've actually been nominated season 4. Season 5 isn't out yet, but we've been nominated for a broadcast award. So we find out in July if we win, which would be cool.
Well, good luck.
But it's great, thanks. But at least we got a nomination. That's great. Because not to be, I don't want to sound like I'm being big headed or anything, but the show is really good, I think, for kids. I mean, we wouldn't want it any other way, to be able to inspire and educate the future generation on why we need to protect animals. And I think True to Nature and the CBBC and BBC team do a great job in educating audiences. It's super educational. It has a bit of everything, conservation, fun, education, frozen sustainability and environment and all of that. It's padded. They've done a great job in such a short amount of time in each episode. So it's good.
It really is amazing. It's also funny that you were slightly worried about not being able to travel before coming to work, and now you must have been to how many countries? Do you know?
I think just over 40 countries.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I have no idea what mine is actually. Must be 15 maybe.
Really?
I don't know. Well, especially for wildlife, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've not been able to go to that many places. I actually went to Scotland recently to see golden eagles up there.
Oh, I saw them. Yeah. It's quality.
Well, this is one thing I want to get onto because I took a camera with me to take a photo of the golden eagle.
Yeah.
Terrible day, first day. Second day came, and it was really clear and perfect. But we couldn't see anything. I saw 3 buzzards and thought that might have been it. It wasn't. We had to hike up to the high moorland up there.
Okay.
About to give up, and then eventually saw this thing coming across. And they have a big wingspan, 7 foot, I think.
Yeah, massive.
And then we saw the beak as well. Like, oh my god!
Yeah.
Tried to take a photo of it. Unbelievably hard. The photos were not good.
Yeah.
So I think, is photography one of those things that looks easier than it is? Especially wildlife.
Yeah, photography is difficult. Yeah. I'm still learning.
Yeah, how did you get, because you, especially when you look at your Instagram now, a lot of it is the photography content. How did you get into that being kind of a primary thing for you?
I worked really hard at it. I mean, I picked up a camera quite late. Compared to probably a lot of photographers. What was I? In COVID is when I started.
Oh, really?
So 2020, so about 4 years ago. I obviously new cameras, but I only did videography, and I never really thought to ever take pictures. I was really rubbish. I was crap at taking pictures. Actually, I was so shit. But I was alright at filming. I could do that. That's not a problem. Yeah. So started in 2020. Was doing the marketing for the zoo because obviously it needed to kind of shout out of try and raise funds, so we were doing loads of live streams and things like that, and trying to think of really good ways to market the zoo and the sanctuary to get people to donate. So I was like, all right, I need to really sort out my photography game as well. And we just did CBBC's 1Z3, so I was like, I should probably really start my social media, and I have a big background in social media in general anyway from my previous jobs. And I was like, I have no excuse, I might as well just get on social media, pick up a camera, just go saw what some cool people did on TikTok. That's when TikTok kind of properly came into people's forefront as a leading social media platform. I saw some cool ideas, so I just went out on my camera and just started taking some pictures. I had a Fuji film is what I started on. Purchased the gear and just went out around the zoo. I think it was a snow day, and just went around, filmed myself. It was really weird at the time, filming myself. I've never ever done that before. Yeah. And I know I had a pilot series, but didn't know where that was going. But I was just trying to think forward. If we did get more seasons, at least have a social media following, and kind of helps the brand in a way. And I just put a little edit together. Got some cool pictures of the lions and tigers and stuff in snow, and put it on TikTok. I didn't put it on Instagram at the time. I didn't want my friends seeing what I was doing. Oh, really? I was really embarrassed. Yeah. When I first started, I was embarrassed by it, and I just didn't want people seeing I was on TikTok or anything like that. And then,
just British group of guys that just
probably
bring each other down as a form.
Yeah.
Everyone's scared to do anything different. But,
and then I posted it on TikTok, and it went. I mean, it wasn't a lot of views. It was maybe 50,000 views, and I was like, wow, fair play. One video is the first video I did it right. So I was like, I'll follow up because of my social media experience. I was like, I need to keep the consistency and keep it going. I need to be posting often. So I posted another one very, very similar, and got 100k views. And I was like, and I went from 0 to 10,000 followers in 2 videos. And I was like, okay, cool, should probably keep going. Yeah,
Two videos.
And then I posted some more videos, and I did one on the northern white rhinos that I met in Kenya, Najin and Fatu, and it got like millions of views. And I was like, and then I had 180k followers.
Yeah.
And I was like, fair, it's working. I need to keep going. And then I posted a stalk video, and then I like just climbed like within a week or a couple of weeks. I had like maybe 300,000 followers and lots of video views and stuff. So I just kept going. But I didn't really do anything on Instagram, and that's kind of how I started, like the photography and social media side of it.
Yeah.
And then I kept doing the photography style videos. Again, wasn't really posting on Instagram. Hadn't even started YouTube, and just after a year of kind of doing that exact process, my photography obviously started getting better because I was out all the time and I was editing, like learning loads of different techniques. In the evening, like I really crafted. I was so boring, like honestly I was literally day and night just constant, and obviously I still had my full-time jobs, and I was doing other jobs as well outside of that, and and then after a year I kind of was like, I need to upgrade my camera equipment. Feature film wasn't really doing it for me. I need to like I've started out well, but now I need to go to the next level, and got in touch with Nikon to just ask about some cameras, and they were like, you've got, I think I had like 500,000 followers on TikTok and stuff, and they were like do you want to become a creator? And I was like, yeah, 100%. So partnered with Nikon after a year of doing photography, and that was like my dream.
Yeah, and that's happened basically 4 years then, from not knowing anything about photography, limited, to Nikon brand ambassador.
Yeah, creator. Not quite the ambassador yet. Not quite the big dogs.
But that is fascinating. I was thinking with that as well. Are there any animals that have really made you work for a photo? One that has been really hard to capture?
Yeah. I think any animal. I think being a photographer within wildlife, you really need to kind of understand what sort of style you're going for. And that kind of depends on sort of the animal that you need to capture. I mean, there's very, very different. I mean, a few of the people within Nikon, their style is like animal at the forefront of the picture, like landscape, and then like a really moody background sky, and then like in black and white, it's more like fine art. So you got like that style, and then my style is very much like single shot, more portraiture. But I kind of like dabble and try other new things as I improve and get better and learn more. Like people specialize in birds, or people specialize in small mammals, or I just kind of flow. I just enjoy it, so I just kind of try a bit of everything.
Just take photo of things you like, essentially.
Yeah, but obviously there's like a bit more skill to just point and shoot in a way, like, or just taking a photo of something I like it's all planned. I know which angle I need to get. I know you need to be patient. I know leading lines, like what sort of when am I waiting for that animal to go into this exact point of view, or like say I'm in Kenya and I see a giraffe, is what sort of angle do I want to get? And then I kind of look at what others are doing, if there's other photographers there and they're getting a specific shot, and I'm like, well, you're getting that shot, why am I getting that shot? You're already doing that. I kind of go for a different angle. But I started my photography in purely like zoo animals, like at our zoo and our sanctuary, and now I don't even go and take pictures really anymore. It's very, very rare that I go around the sanctuary or zoo. I mean, and that's because it doesn't really challenge me anymore. It's
a bit easier, I guess.
I'm probably going to offend some people. It is easier though, because I know exactly probably where the animal's going to be, where the best shot, where in that habitat it's going to go to. So it is a lot easier. Whereas in the wild, like, you've got a lot to play with, So it is difficult, and I mean, bird photography I find quite challenging. Although there's a lot
shoot off quite quickly.
I mean, you need to have a high shutter, and just that can be quite difficult. But again, it just all depends on the style. My styles I'd probably say is quite easy, but it's really the ones which are the big landscape ones, getting the animals involved within that kind of frame. I think that's probably the style that I like the most outside of my style.
Good style. I like that.
But my style is easy, to be honest with you. It is.
Don't do that to yourself.
Nah, it is. But I'm lucky that I get to spend time with some amazing photographers just like award-winning photographers.
It's a rising tide, isn't it? Like, you're taking photos of animals, people become more interested in photos of animals, everyone's going to have more reach there. One thing you did kind of say on a few topics there is that the photography took you a while, you kept having to experiment, even building your brand, you had to be consistent, you had to do this. Everyone sees the photos, everyone sees the brand, and they kind of go, oh, that looks great. Almost must be easy, but actually there's been a lot of hard work and consistency with that, and sounds like quite a bit of sacrifice as well. I worked bloody hard. Like, obviously on Instagram I have about 600k followers, on TikTok 900k, YouTube I haven't really explored YouTube that much, but 200k subs. So, you know, and everyone's like, wow, that's a lot of followers. I think to me though, followers doesn't really, like, there's a lot more to it than just having the followers. Everyone sees the results as you know, when you go scroll on the page. But with me, it's taken many years to obviously get there. I mean, the last 4 years in particular, to go from 0 to that amount. And you know, I sacrificed a lot of evenings, weekends. I was a bit of a recluse for quite a while, and I still do sacrifice. And I have to like manage it a lot more with my time because of obviously the other things I'm doing. But yeah, like, all of it took time to kind of get to where I am, and I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. Like, I have so much I still want to achieve and try and do. And I think even if I want to achieve it, I still won't say I'm achieved it, because there's always something next that you need to achieve. And that's the mentality. But I guess it is it's so cliche now, but that journey is what you never quite get there, do you? It's
always... and I'm probably guilty of it. I don't really like celebrate my wins in a way, and I've achieved some really good things, definitely. But I guess because I'm always looking for, all right, what can I do now? You know, like, it sounds like Instagram, for example, when I hit my like 100k followers, I was like, wow, like 100k people follow me, that's really cool. And I was like, I need to get 250k now. And when I got to 250k, I was like, I need to get 500,000. Yeah. And I didn't really achieve it because I was already thinking, all right, I need to go next. Like, I don't know, videos, like, how many views can I get on a video? Yeah. Like first big one was 5 million, and now like my biggest one's like over 50 million. And it's like, all right, I need to get like more than that. And I'm always looking for what's next. It sounds a bit shallow, but it's not. It's just that.
I think you're not alone in that. A lot of the people I've known have been really successful in sport or any field. It's a bit of a catch-22 in that they definitely achieve what other people wish they could. When you actually see them do it, it's almost, okay, well, what's next? Because the mindset that got them there is not a mindset that allows you to sit in it and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So it's quite a hard balance to strike.
Yeah, it is a hard balance. And I think, I know what I was saying was where I sacrificed a lot of days and nights. Like, I was, I mean, my ex, I mean, I literally just used to get home and then I'd be editing in the evenings. Like, I'd already done a full day's work, and then I'd just go and edit. Yeah. And then I'd go and take photos, or I'd, you know, just film myself talking about a subject, and that was it. Like, it wasn't really going out. So, and it doesn't sound like it's a massive sacrifice, but it was when I was working, like, and it's probably a family trait because my mum works like from like 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, and so my brother, and so does my dad and stuff. So I guess we're all used to like putting in the graft to try and get the reward. But I think where I was doing a lot. It's just that I was focused because I wanted to try and. I felt like I should have been doing, like, trying to educate and raise awareness on animals because it's been my life, and I felt like I needed to give something back. Like, I live at a zoo, I have a sanctuary, I have all these things around me. Why aren't I, you know, filming and photographing and trying to tell their story and show people what I do as well to try and, you know, have a bigger impact? And that's the point of, I guess, why I'm doing what I'm doing today. But again, as I said, I don't know where the end goal is for me, but I just need to keep going.
That was a question, actually. Are you someone that plans out ahead? Do you go, this is what I want to now achieve and I'm chasing after it? Or is it opportunities come and I kind of pick?
Both. I'm a bit of a serial planner. I'm very organised. Really? Yeah, I have to be. But I have like goals that I want to achieve, and I've hit a lot of the goals like from 4 years ago or 2 years ago or whenever it was. But I've got like really big goals and ambitions and dreams, and yeah, I'm just working my way to try and get there.
Can you share any of them? Any of those really big milestones? Or is this more of a keep it to yourself?
I have them written down.
I'll try and get them.
No, I think like it's a difficult one. Yeah, I mean, I get opportunities that just are spurred up on me. Like big trip to Kenya for 3 weeks with Cotters was incredible.
That looked amazing.
Yeah, and like that was a dream. Like going to go and see Japanese giant salamanders. That's like a dream. Like to be able to travel and do what I love, and you know, I'm obviously like. I'm being sent out there because I guess my following in a way. Right. It works for both people, but I get to do what I love, and I have big goals. Like, will I get there? Who knows? But if I keep my head down and keep working, maybe. But it's also about working smart and sometimes not as hard. So I need to be a bit more clever in my approach to things, because I think for a while I was like, all of this can I do, and I need to be a bit more streamlined and a bit more focused, because a lot of opportunities do come up and I think, wow, that's really cool, and I think, shit, I'm now like stressing myself out because I've got about 1,001 things I'm trying to juggle that are all quite different to each other. Like even from a content standpoint, like social media is mentally challenging because I'm always thinking of like, what's my next post going to be? What's like, oh shit, I need to edit that. Like, I need to edit that video. I need to script that video. I need to edit that photo. Oh God, do I even like that style of edit that I've put on that photo? And I'm always in my head about things as well. And there's a lot to it, but and then that takes up so much time. And then
do you do that all yourself?
Yeah.
All the editing yourself?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, but it's a nightmare at the same time.
Yeah.
But I do it all myself, but that's a killer of time.
Yeah.
And those edits, you know, I sometimes think, I shouldn't like be too invested in my edits, but then I think, well, if I don't care about what I'm posting, why would anyone else care? So I need to care and love what I do and love what I make, and hopefully people will love that. Do
you think you're quite obsessive with it?
Yeah.
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 Is that why you wouldn't outsource that sort of work, because you want to be in control of your output? Yeah,
I mean, I've started outsourcing like YouTube content, like the longer form stuff, because I need like a solid week to edit like a long form video.
Vlog type.
I don't have a solid week. I don't really have an evening to really like get that focused. And for me to focus, like I need to. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really found. I used to be able to focus really well, but I think I've got quite a lot of, not distractions, but other things going on now. Yeah, I struggle to kind of just get into that editing mindset.
Yeah, it's a lot of people as well. I think 600k, like that. It's a number on the screen. When you actually think how many people there is, I actually ran the numbers on this. So when I went to message you, I hadn't actually looked at the profile to see how many people followed you, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of people. But it's the same population as Luxembourg.
Yeah.
If you want to know some numbers.
Nice.
If you were to militarise your following, Cam, you would be the 7th largest army in the world.
Oh, nice.
So,
Cam's army.
Whitnall's army. Watch out. Or you would be able to fill Old Trafford 8.5 times.
Nice.
With that following. It's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that weight of that many people, or is it quite... What does that mean? Do you feel that way, or is it very much you put your content out and there we are?
Yeah, I put my content out and there we are.
Yeah.
There's loads of people who have lots of followers. And it sounds a bit throwaway, but I think it's a lot easier to like get a following these days. So I just kind of make my content, and if people like it, and they follow me for that, and it's a really nice feeling. But you know, there's lots of creators out there, lots of influencers with really big followings doing amazing things, and you know, 600,000 on Instagram's like amazing. I'm so grateful, and I like that. Obviously, they're following me for the animals, which is the most important part. Yeah. Like, that's the main part about my channels at the end of the day is the animals. They come first, just like the TV show, you know, like you know, you got me and my brothers presenting, but you know, the heartbeat of it is the animals. Like that's the most important part. But yeah, no, I never really necessarily think about followers. I more think I need to get something out. God, I need to constantly be thinking about getting things out, so my brain doesn't really switch off.
And on the animals, you're doing something pretty cool at the moment in Ukraine. You're looking to save, is it 5 lions?
Yeah,
tell me about that.
We've always wanted to like do a lot more rescues at the sanctuary. You know, something we've always kind of spoken about, but with lots of things going on, we haven't really had that opportunity. But earlier in the year, me and my girlfriend, we follow a organisation called I4, International Fund for Animal Welfare, and they're brilliant. I love I4, and they posted a video of Yuna. She's a lioness stuck in Kiev at the minute. She just recently got bombed, and she couldn't stand. She's suffering from shell shock and concussion. She's in a terrible state, and the video went everywhere. And we just messaged them and said, you know, how can we help? Like, can I like share the video or do more? And didn't hear anything. Kind of ghosted me a little bit. No, they didn't hear anything. So I messaged again, didn't hear anything. So I emailed them and just tried to find another way of communication. They got back to me right away, and they were like, oh yeah, we'd love to have you to help. Like, do you want to jump on a call? Jumped on a call, and then went from like potentially rescuing one lion to then there was 5 lions that needed rescuing. So it was like, wow, okay, all right, let me go and speak to the family. So got all the wrote everything down that, you know, to go to my family with and be like, that we have an opportunity to rescue 5 lions. You know, let's do it. And obviously they were like, yeah, let's do it. So it was my granddad. So went back to I4 and got the ball rolling. And there was other animals there as well. There was a couple of tigers. So we're also trying to find a way to rescue them. But thankfully other places in Europe said that they can bring the tigers in. So we just focused on the lions. It kind of evolved into a big beast of a project, because at the sanctuary we don't have the enclosures ready. There's all the habitats that we have at the minute are full with big and small cats. So it was like, all right, to bring these 5 lions in, we need to build a brand new rescue centre. And it was quite complex because this isn't a pride of lions, they're all individual lions.
Oh really?
So if it was a pride of lions, it would be a much simpler build, because you could just do 2 outsides and then a house with a few dens in to be able to manage those species. But they're all individuals, so each line needs their own outdoors and indoor facilities. So then it kind of evolved into, all right, let's start drawing up a design for building this massive facility. And then we're like, all right, this is going to cost a lot of money. So now how are we going to fundraise for it? So then we started, you know, putting the plans in place to then fundraise to bring these lines over. And then it was like, well, crap, we're not going to be able to build it like this. Like, it's going to take a good 6 months potentially. So, but we need to get the lions out of Ukraine now. So it's like, all right, how do we get the lions out of Ukraine now? All right, well, let's look at temporary holding facilities. So then it was, you know, the project was just evolving and becoming bigger and bigger. So I was like, all right, let's find some partners that are willing to take on the lions while we build the habitat, but then we also need to raise the funds to be able to build the habitat and get these lions like transport, vet care, food, drink, all of that. And how do we get them out of Kiev as soon as possible? So yeah, we launched a campaign on 2nd of May. We've got all the temporary holding facilities now. 2 in Belgium, one in England, that can take on Rory, Vanda, Amani and Lyra. It was sisters, and then Yuna can come straight to the sanctuary, because we're also, as well as the project going down there to lead the project, we were currently in progress of building some enclosures for our current cats to give them better homes anyway. So, but to bring in Yuna straight away, we had to finish the new lion enclosure that we're also building for our current lions to give them a better home. So it was like, all right, I need to take on this project with some of our other team to be able to speed up the process to get Yuna in straight away. So then it went from like building this new lion rescue centre to also trying to finish this new lion enclosure, and then also a clouded leopard habitat as well that we needed to finish off. So there was a big ripple effect, and then other things that were going on. So and then we started fundraising, and already we've raised over 150k in like a few weeks, which is like, the support we've received is massive. It's unbelievable. So it's all going to go towards the lion rescue centre that we're building. And we've gone out to tender. We've got contractors starting soon to build the project. The lions we need to go rescue from Kiev. Once all the documents, and that's the hardest part, is the documents. I mean, there's so many documents. Since Brexit, it's really made it difficult to move animals around. But also coming from Ukraine, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, import, export, CITES, VAT requirements, all of that. There's a lot. It's an absolute headache. And then we need to get the right crates. We need to sort out the crates to be able to go and pick the lines up. How do we get the crates into Ukraine? What's the transport company we're going to use? All of that. We have to go through like 5 different countries we have to drive. Obviously, flight's a bit too dangerous because it could cause trauma. And it was like, well, and trying to organise all of this, the main thing that was still our biggest concern is that these lines could still get bombed any minute because they're still in a war zone in the heart of Kiev. So yeah, we're trying to act as fast as we can, but yeah, documents pretty slow.
I was going to say, there's any lines in the world that are going to be a little bit more attuned to trauma, it's going to be these lines.
Yes.
But wow, that is a hell of a project. How much do you need to raise?
Our target is 500,000.
Okay.
So
maybe we'll plug that on.
Yeah.
Send me a link. We'll put it on.
Cheers, mate.
See how much it gets.
But no, it's going really well. As I said, we've had amazing support. It's moving in a really good, really fast speed. But yeah, still lots to do. But we're getting there.
So with the zoo industry in general, it gets a lot of flack when it comes to animal welfare, breeding, captivity, all these sort of things. What is your take on that?
Yeah, the zoo industry is very controversial. I have this conversation with everyone and anyone. You know, there's good and bad zoos. There's probably a lot more bad zoos than good zoos, but the good zoos are very good and they're doing incredible work. I mean, I've grown up in the zoo my whole life. I've grown up in the sanctuary my whole life, and I've been to all around the world to see zoos, sanctuaries, rescue centres, reserves, you know, all of that. But there's good and bad in everything. There's good sanctuaries, bad sanctuaries. There's good rescue centres, there's bad rescue centres. There's good reserves, there's bad reserves. There is literally good and bad in everything, and I think the zoos gets pointed the finger at because they're an easy target, because, you know, I guess the connotations behind the word zoo, and it kind of comes down to the Latin name in a way, that probably causes it, because if you just called it like a wildlife park, it probably wouldn't get much stick. If you called it a sanctuary, it definitely wouldn't get any stick. And I think the most important part is kind of changing people's perception on that, because good zoos are so important to preserving, conserving species, but also educating children, adults on wildlife. You know, like, I think I always compare it when you say, you know, if you go to an Italian restaurant and have a bad meal, you're not going to brand every single Italian restaurant in the world and say, I'm never going to go there again, they're all terrible. Like, every single one is run differently, and it's kind of like zoos, and you've got the commercial side of it and the conservation and welfare side of it, and both of them play a really important part. But yeah, the whole industry, wildlife industry, needs to be relooked at. I mean, everything from your reserves to your zoos, sanctuaries, all the way down to even pets. You know, there's good and bad in all of it. And I think the wildlife industry as a whole needs a whole new, fresh look at. You know, the illegal wildlife industry is the 4th biggest in the world. I mean, you can go online and buy a flamingo for like $6,000.
Really?
Yeah, like, it's really bad. Like, yeah, I mean, I believe in good zoos.
Yeah, definitely. I think especially having volunteered at your zoo, there is a real theme that everyone there very much loves animals. They're not there exploiting. No. But there are zoos. I mean, I went to one in Tenerife and it was horrible. You see all these really sad, there is good and bad zoos. Yeah. I think with the illegal wildlife trade as well, as I mentioned to you earlier, I went to South Africa about a year ago. A guy I used to play rugby against who started a rhino dehorning charity, which even that is incredibly controversial. Some people think you should never do that, but the rhinos are being killed at such a fast rate. The community efforts are not doing it quick enough, and you've gone to see some of the last white rhinos, I believe.
Last 2.
White,
yeah.
Which, when you see that, I mean, what do you do in these situations? Because the rhino horn, I think, goes for more than gold on the black market. It's going into Chinese medicine. Yeah. And from what I understand, rhino horn is basically like a nail, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, keratin.
And
same with the hair and fingernails.
so it doesn't really do much.
No,
when
you
it
might
comes
as
to
well pull
medicine.
your own fingernail off and use it as medicine.
And you're losing species because of that.
Yeah.
It's so needless, but it happens so frequently.
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, especially seeing Najib and Fatih, the last two Northern White Rhinos. I mean, it really puts things into perspective. And at Old Pedgestre as well, they have a rhino memorial, which is horrible. And you know, some of the stories of how these rhinos have been killed. You know, one of them shot. I think it was a black rhino. She was shot with a calf inside her. Another one was shot in an actual compound as well, being protected, and they survived. And then a year later, they came back and killed it. One of them was dehorned and left for dead and bled out for multiple days. I mean, the stories are graphic, and yeah, the industry it really needs revitalising. There are amazing people doing incredible work.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think with the future generations coming in, and wildlife and nature and saving the planet becoming much more of a, I guess, and what I mean by this is at school it wasn't really cool to like animals. I don't think people wanted to be footballers and things like that, and you know, there wasn't really an emphasis on saving the world, whereas now today I think there is like huge emphasis on, and I think with climate change looming over and having a huge impact, and all the impacts that are going on, there are people really standing up and making a difference. And I think, you know, in 10 years time, 20 years time, I think the world will be in a better place in that sense, but it might be too late. I think for a lot of species it will be too late. I think probably a little bit too late to stop climate change, but you know, and that's where, like, going back to zoos, I mean, eventually zoos will be like arcs, and a lot of them do act like arcs, the good zoos and the good sanctuaries and the good safari parks and the good wildlife parks. A lot of them are with the endangered species breeding programs, having that backup population. You know, you look at amber leopards, there's 96 in captivity, there's around like 90 in the wild.
Yeah.
So if that wild population gets knocked out by like a disease or poaching or habitat loss or fragmentation or climate change, whatever it may be, then who are people going to call? That sounds like Ghostbusters, but it's not. Zoos. They are. They're going to be like, well, crap, good zoos. They have a healthy bloodline, a genetically viable population of amber leopards.
Yeah.
Let's do the rewilding program. And there was going to be a rewilding program for amber leopards, but it's in Russia and China.
Yeah.
And that's where rewilding and wilding of animals, everyone's so easy to say, they should be in the wild. They're like, just go rewild them. I mean, if people understood how hard it was to rewild animals properly, done properly, ethically, in the right way, and I don't mean just picking an animal up and just
good luck.
Just chucking it out there to survive. I mean, there's so much involved with rewilding an animal, and it is painfully slow and difficult, but it's really important to do it right, because you need to consider every factor. I mean, for a start, governments, you know, the politics around that, and then, you know, local people. You know, like, do these people want this animal there? I mean, herbivores is a lot more easier, carnivores is a lot more difficult. But I mean, the topic of rewilding is like a whole episode in itself on a podcast, because it's a real minefield. And you know, some people do it really well, some people do it really bad. But the average person that doesn't know much about it, you know, you can say that, throw away those comments like, oh, animals should be in the wild, animals, just rewild it, just send it back into the wild, things like that, or zoos shouldn't exist. It's an easy statement to make, but I genuinely urge people to do a bit more research.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at my own girlfriend was anti-zoo.
Really?
Yeah, she hated zoos.
Yeah.
Never went to a zoo in life. And now, through the research and being with me and realising about the industry, and not just zoo industry, but the whole wildlife industry, she's now like, wow, zoos are really important. Like, good zoos. They actually have a really important role to play in saving species, in conservation, in education, in welfare, in research, in science. And you know, so it's a weird one, and hopefully she won't get annoyed with me saying it. But she was anti-zoo, but now she's pro-zoo. Yeah.
A lot of people initially the take is animals in captivity, that's bad.
Yeah.
And that's as far as their thought process goes. When actually, you go to most, like you say, good zoos, there is a lot of conservation projects that they're involved in, whether that maybe back in the day it used to be a bit more exploitative, small cages, but nowadays if you go to a good zoo, they're being really properly looked after, and there's lots of good programs alongside that as well.
There's so many good programs. I mean, we do it ourselves. I mean, you look at sun bears. We recently welcomed sun bears, and we established 2 new conservation partners, the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Centre in Borneo and the Sumatran Sun Bear Team in Sumatra. Now, they're 2 brilliant charities who we are investing in and we're funding to be able to protect sun bears in the wild. We just raised a hell of a lot of money for the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Centre to set up a rewilding program for them, so they can literally build a sun bear school in a nature reserve in Borneo, where they literally, sun bear cubs go through forest school. These are cubs that are from the illegal wildlife trade. They were kept as ex-pets, and now these cubs are going through forest school through the money that we've funded them, as well as other organisations, which they've been able to build. And then in the next 1 to 2 years, these cubs will go back into the wild. So that's the impact that good zoos have. I mean, I have tons of stories of the work good zoos have. But it's not me saying, again, in an ideal world though, zoos wouldn't exist. 100%. I always stand by that. But we don't live in an ideal world. We don't live in the perfect world. There's a lot of issues in our world. But as long as we're doing as much as we can to try and protect species and protect habitats, preserve habitats and all of this, then that's the most important part. But there's a long way to go.
Like you said, both of those things could be another podcast. With the rewilding, you do look at it and you think we've done quite a good job with seagulls up in Scotland, and I think on the Isle of Wight as well. They've done the beavers slightly controversially released, and are now doing quite well in certain areas. And there are some cool stories around the beavers stopping certain flooding, and you look at some of the land that's been sort of destroyed by overgrazing, and then you put beavers in, they start to hold their water better. So there are some good things, but the way they're released was pretty questionable, said the least. And then you have bison just being reintroduced in a enclosed area in
Wildwood,
in Blean. The one that is probably the most controversial, but is the conversations going on, is the lynx and the wolf. Now, assuming everything is done properly, do you think either a lynx or a wolf reintroduction would be a good idea?
Yeah, I think it would be good, and if the I guess the areas were properly scoped out, and obviously there's a lot of thought that needs to go into that, but obviously you need to take into consideration the local people that are going to be dealing with wolves and lynxes, and make sure there are the right processes in place. So if a wolf or lynx did take a farmer's livestock, that they are reimbursed or compensated for that. They do that in a lot of parts of the world already, but I think they have really important benefits. I don't think you'll ever get a bear back into the wild in the UK, but I think there's definitely probably parts of Scotland where you could reintroduce lynx and maybe wolves one day, but there's a lot that needs to go into it before we can even get to that point. Fingers crossed that happens, because that'd be bloody amazing. But lynx I think would be easier, wolves would be harder.
I think the wolves probably have a bit of a branding issue, I would say.
The big bad wolf.
I don't know when I first heard that. I heard lynx and I was like, I can see that happening. They're very scared of people. Wolves, you're kidding me, right?
Wolves are amazing.
But everyone, the sort of reputation
stigma,
of the wolf, it's the big bad wolf, all the grim tales, there's a bad wolf.
It's a load of nonsense, honestly. It's just movies, it's like anything, like even Jaws. The impact that Jaws had on sharks. I mean, how many sharks got killed after Jaws, and how many people are scared of sharks? I mean, they kill
I hate them.
Around 10 and 20 people a year around the world, something like that. And how many sharks do we kill a year?
Well, it's also,
do you know the number?
It must be, shark fin soup must be a lot.
I think it's something like 100 million. I hate pointing a finger at Asia, because there's stuff that we do in the UK which are bloody awful. Badgers and the coals and foxes, and how we treat our wildlife. We're the worst country we killed all of our animals. We're one of the most nature depleted countries in the world. And we're so quick to judge everyone else. We're so quick to point the finger at Africa, the continent of Africa or Asia. We should probably focus more on what we're doing, and really we can start talking about what other countries and continents do, and when we're putting it into practice and doing it right ourselves. But right now we're not. Yeah.
But if you don't know as well, you don't think it's as bad as it is. I read Wilding by Isabella Tree from NEP.
Yeah.
After I read that, I went back to the Lake District and I looked at it in a completely different way, because it's essentially a green desert.
Yeah.
A lot of the UK, I've heard someone call it the green desert. I thought that's actually very true.
Cool.
It's just fields.
I like that. Yeah, it is a lot of fields.
A lot of life lives in hedgerows. A lot of fields, a few little pockets where things are under massive pressure. Our largest predator is the badger, which, as you rightly say, has been massively culled. We have the fox again, mostly in London now.
Yeah.
Other than anywhere else, highest population is in London. We're not very good on our wildlife. Small birds decreasing massively. We have very poor wildlife.
Yeah.
We might be the most nature depleted per square mile in the world, taking away a small place like Vatican City, Monaco, but larger country. It's very sad.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people know.
Yeah, and like that's where, I mean, at Hertfordshire Zoo, we've become the UK Centre of Species Survival for the IUCN. So it's kind of, we're establishing a framework for other zoos and sites around England to take the knowledge that we're bringing in and then sharing it with the wider community to kind of support in kind of bringing back nature. And we've just set up an actual trail which is it's got over 4,000 species, like plants, like and trees, like the black poplar, which is an endangered tree, which is to them 3 species that we're looking at, animal species as well, sand lizards, northern pool frogs and adders, and the aim for those 3 species is to rewild them.
Right.
But again, like it's going to take quite a few years, but moving forward, every single species that we welcome to the zoo, we want to have a direct impact to either rewilding, conservation, or education. Like every single species that we bring in now, it needs to have a purpose as to why we have it.
Right.
It's not just
as opposed to come and look at this.
Yeah. No, like there is a reason why we have that species.
Yeah.
And like with those species, I mean, with sand lizards, most endangered lizard in the UK, we'll hopefully start setting up a breeding and release program with them in the next 3 to 5 years. Northern pool frogs, I mean, they were once thought to be extinct in the UK in the 90s. They're critically endangered, the most endangered frog species in the UK. Will hopefully be in a part of a rewilding species for them. And then adders, the dream would be in the next 3 to 5 years to be a rewilding for adders as well, vulnerable snake species. And then that's just a start. We're starting small with our species, and then it will come into the bigger ones. I think trying to do we're in England and we're doing all of this stuff around the world. We need to start focusing more on what's happening at home, and that's why setting up this trail, working with these species, and that's not the only things that you get from the trail as well. We've got like bee posts, solitary bee posts, you've got butterfly houses, you've got a bit of everything. So literally it's a take home for people to be like, wow, we can do this in our garden. We can have these plants in our garden. This will attract butterflies, this will attract bees. I mean, if we lose bees, we're buggered anyway. So I mean, bees are a very important species that we need to keep alive. So the more we can do in our own gardens is really key to support species.
It's like building a wildlife pond.
Yeah.
You build a pond, suddenly so many animals come to it. Even if it's a stagnant little pool, you'd be surprised how many things can benefit from that.
Yeah.
It's very impressive. I think that's a good sort of note to finish up on, but I've got some quick fire questions for you. Yeah. Which I don't think you'll like, because I think they'll make you... I just want you to say whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
So, Cam Whitnall. Aside from Hertfordshire Zoo, what's the best zoo in the world?
Can I say what's the best zoo in the world? Can I say what's my favourite zoo?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I'm going to say San Diego Zoo Safari Park. That place, we filmed there for 1, 2, 3, and it was unbelievable. Yeah.
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego Zoo Safari Park. The Safari Park in particular, just unbelievable. The zoo's great as well, but the Safari Park just, incredible. Singapore Zoo.
Belgium got a good zoo as well.
Paradisa. Leipzig Zoo. Yeah. Chester Zoo. There's 5.
San Diego's number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry to the others. Best country visited? I'm going to change this to best country visited in terms of wildlife.
Can't be like Kenya. Or just the continent of Africa. I mean, going on safari, I urge everyone, at some point in their life to try and get out there, whether it's just for a day or 10 days, I don't know, whatever you can manage, because nothing beats being on safari. It's the greatest feeling in the world. Kenya.
And would you say that's the most nature-rich country you've been in?
Yeah, that and India.
India, really?
Yeah. I mean, I did safari in India to see tigers, and doing safari out there is amazing too.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, continent of Asia, I mean, there's so many animals.
Really?
Like, yeah. I mean, India and Africa are very similar with the species that you can get. I mean,
I don't really have cheetah in India. They've just had a little
just released cheetahs. Yeah.
But they were there originally, right?
Again, another really controversial rewilding of introducing cheetahs into India. I mean, cheetahs is another podcast episode, because I mean they're an interesting one. I mean, their numbers are really like suffering in the wild. I mean, there's less cheetahs in the wild than there are black rhinos.
It's strange because they get out competed quite a lot.
Oh yeah, they suck.
They're not big.
They're like the giant panda, like genuinely.
Yeah.
Like, if they go extinct, it's because they're like they actually suck. I love cheetahs, but they do suck.
But it's because they don't go up a tree, so they can't take the food up a tree.
No.
And they kill something, and it's just like, right, thanks for that, we'll take that.
Yeah.
But we, when I went same trip, there's this triumvirate of cheetahs that hunt, and they're very used to being studied. So we've got to go and walk with them as they hunted. But I'm being a bit bigger. They said, well, go up, stand just behind them there. Obviously, little photo up there of just being with the cheetahs. Yeah. But I wasn't really thinking about it. I just thought they're sort of docile and they're lying there. And I stepped on a twig right behind it, and apparently they don't like, the bigger you are, the worse they react to you. I stepped on a twig, it turned, it growled, and made a little fake lunge at me. My God, I must have been double its size, but my life dropped out my ass in that moment. Honestly, I was like, bloody hell. But it gives you that sort of sense of, these are but they're not very good.
Well, I mean, I guess those cheetahs are different, because I guess they have no fear of you, right?
Yeah.
Because they're used to being people, like, around people. And I guess, like, when you look at it like that, like, animals in captivity are way more dangerous than animals in the wild, because animals in captivity, they don't have fear of people.
Yeah.
So, whereas animals in the wild, I mean, if that was a proper wild cheetah, it would see you later.
Yeah, you don't want to go any.
Yeah, I mean, they get chased off by pimpers, warthogs. Yeah. They're little babies.
Okay, favourite bird?
Shoeblestalk.
Yeah, that's a good bird. Favourite animal? Just answer. What comes to your mind first of all, without thinking?
Giraffe.
Really, giraffe?
Yeah, giraffe, yeah.
They are very beautiful. You see them, they're quite...
It's because they're tall, and I'm sure. I wish I was tall.
It's a jealousy. Yeah, fair enough. Favourite ever animal experience?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Najin and Fatu, the last two Northern White Rhinos.
Really? Could you feel it in the air? That sort of,
yeah, I like, the first time I met them, I was in tears.
Really?
It was so sad. It was like a wake-up call. To be that close to such beautiful animals. They were so docile, they were so lovely. Gave them a belly rub and everything, and you just think, wow, we've allowed it to happen. The last two is our fault. It was. I'll never forget that moment. That was really sad.
Yeah, I think when you see even the rhino dehorning, so we're part of the team that does it. Now the whole thing is over at 15 minutes. They trank it from the air, but you see it wobbling and go down, and then you've got this big beast. Everyone then goes in to hold the rhino up, but its eyes looks like it's crying.
Yeah.
So it's not, they're protecting the eye, but to see the animal there sort of is very emotional. I think a lot of people are surprised by how emotional it is, but they get the retrank, they're up. It's not ideal, but in 15 minutes they're off back doing what they were doing. But it's very, when you actually see them there, you relate with them a lot. I don't know what the word is for that.
I don't know, they're kind of just like, you don't expect them to be the way that they are in their nature. I mean, they're just very lovely. They're a great animal. I think they deserve a lot more respect from people.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
All right, last couple. Your favourite animal at Hertfordshire Zoo?
Brazilian tapirs or sunbears. Yeah. Brazilian tapirs, I'll call it. They're like big. They're like big dogs. You give them scratches and everything. They're amazing.
Also, your dream animal to have at Hertfordshire Zoo?
Pangolin. I think the most trafficked mammal in the world. Pangolin would be a dream species. Would never happen, but I think we could do a lot of work in the field to save their species as well and educate people on pangolin. So yeah, pangolin or koala.
And you've seen a pangolin, haven't you?
Yeah.
Had it, I saw it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
In Cambodia, I met reintroduction program went.
Oh really?
Yeah, I mean that's a cool story. Actually, that was one of my favourite wildlife experiences.
Oh, really? Number 2 or number 1?
Nah, there's been a lot. I wouldn't really say it was. To be honest, like even the last two of my rhinos, it is hard to rank.
Yeah.
They're all good. I don't have a particular favourite moment.
What was the most sort of unexpected, the rarest animal that you sort of never expect to see and you got lucky?
Red-shanked Duke Langer, Vietnam.
What's that?
Red-shanked Duke Langer. Critically endangered monkey.
It's a monkey.
Yeah. They're regarded as one of the most colourful monkeys in the world. They're amazing. So unique. Not doing well in the wild at all. But I was in Vietnam, I was travelling, and obviously like you get your standard, person that goes travelling like that.
You weren't there on a wildlife trip?
No, I was travelling, but obviously I want to go see animals, so I made sure I went and tried to see an animal everywhere I went when I was travelling anyway. So I just went off on my own. I just used to go off on my own quite a bit. So I just hired a bike. It's like semi-automatic, and they're in this like Son Tra Peninsula in Da Nang, a coastal city in Vietnam, and it's like one of their main strongholds. I don't think there's like really not that many like left. Like they're really been hit hard. I mean, they're critically endangered. So, and I just took my bike up there, and I was just like driving around. I was thinking, Christ, I'm never gonna see one. I had my like camera initially, like my little camera. So it was the first time. That was actually the first time I was actually trying to take photos on that trip, and just kind of was driving around for an hour, and the light was getting low. And I was thinking, crap, I've come all this way, and I'm not gonna see a red-shanked Duke Langer. What the hell is happening? And I got lost as well. Like my phone wasn't working, and I was thinking, shit, I'm in trouble here. I didn't see anyone for an hour.
Really?
Like, I was literally just thinking, this isn't good. Like, I have no signal. I haven't seen a person in an hour, and I just started driving randomly, and all of a sudden this person came out of nowhere, and I was like, help me find this monkey. And I had a picture of it on my phone, so I just kind of showed him it, and he was like, didn't speak obviously English. He was a local, but he had a huge camera on his back as well.
Oh really?
Like, where have you been? And I followed him for like 10 minutes. And then there was just like loads of photographers, and there was these red-shanked Duke Langers all around us.
Wow.
And it was just such an unexpected experience. One of ones that I'll take home and I'll never forget.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I got some really cool shots. I mean, it's annoying because I was really crap at photography then.
We'll pop the photo up. Say that one.
Yeah, it like
show how far you
they're like very like the images are not that good, but it was still just amazing.
Well, I don't even know what they look like, so I'm quite interested to see this.
Quality. That was one of my first TikToks. That video,
Yeah. I think we got really lucky again in South Africa. We were driving home after a game drive in the evening, and silhouetted against like a red sky, we saw an eagle owl, and it was very nice. And it took off, and we were like, ooh, that was good.
Yeah.
And then a serval, we got lucky.
Really hard to see.
Yeah, it was just walking across the road like 50 metres ahead of us, and we saw it slink off through the sort of yellow grass. That was pretty cool.
Jealous.
But that's probably it. Okay, last couple. If you weren't in conservation, if you weren't doing what you're doing, if you couldn't do anything with animals.
I honestly wouldn't know. Maybe football. Going to do football. That's like my other hobby.
Yeah.
Love football. Big Man United fan.
Yeah, good weekend for you.
Oh, great week. I was there. I was buzzing.
Yeah, it was quite cool. Bruno Fernandes as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
If you could bring back any animal from extinction.
If I could bring back any animal from extinction.
Not talking dinosaurs here, I'm talking.
Oh, damn it. I was going to say T-Rex. Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Or does it need to be brought back?
Yes.
You
don't. No, honestly. These people that go around being like, oh my God, it's alive. Look at this really blurry. It's like UFOs, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Like, people make a living off
just Australian farmers have seen it.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? Hey, if they're around, they're around. But I think there'd be a bit more evidence if they were around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
We can hope, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, or a dodo.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that would be cool.
I think the giant sloth would be quite cool to see. Have you seen the skeleton?
Yeah, mate, they're massive.
Is it Tring? I think it is as well.
Yeah, in Tring, yeah. That's near me.
Yeah, my granddad used to take me there when I was young.
Oh,
Whitnall in the Tring Museum.
Nice.
They have a giant sloth.
Not Aussie then.
It was a bit too far. Whitnall was actually.
Tring is next to me. Don't make excuses now.
And Paradise Wildlife Park, the three that we went to.
Hertfordshire Zoo now.
Now Hertfordshire Zoo, of course. Okay, and last one. Where is the place where you went to and you felt, because I think there's not very many wildernesses left. Where's the place you've been to and thought, wow, I am really in the wilderness here?
Scotland.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds quite bad. I mean, is there really wild anymore?
Up in Scotland felt the most wild.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have been low. I thought it would be somewhere like Alaska or middle of the.
I wish I haven't been in Alaska, to be fair, but I don't know. When you look at like Africa, I mean, when you go to like the national parks and stuff, I mean, they're all managed.
Yeah.
There's people all around. There's lots of camps and everything. I mean, there's lots of villages and things like that, and lots of fences, believe it or not.
Yeah.
If you go to India, similar. If you go to, like
really?
Maybe Cambodia was when I went to Cardamom Mountains to that release site with the pangolins and sunbears and things. I mean, that was very wild. But again, like, yeah, probably that and Scotland.
That's cool. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess there aren't many fences up in Scotland anyway. Okay, and last one. Dream dinner party. 3 people.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
Big D, David Attenborough.
Yeah. Have you met him, by the way?
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, good. Yeah, he's
the great man.
It was weird. He filmed at the zoo. He was filmed with the anacondas, the Optimus Prime, and just when he spoke, it was just amazing. It was such a weird feeling. Like, you've grown up listening to him on TV, and it's just that voice, just that amazing voice.
You got starstruck when you saw him.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone was like up there just trying to get a picture with him.
Really?
Felt quite bad, but
you must be used to it, surely.
Yeah, I didn't actually get a picture of him in the end.
Did you not?
I felt quite bad. My mum and granddad and stuff did, and now I regret it. Like, really, I wish I did.
Yeah.
But David Attenborough, Steve Irwin, and what would you say?
My one? That's not how this works.
What would you say?
I'm
Go
trying
on.
to think. I always thought it'd be quite fun to have Ricky Gervais there.
No.
Always like Ricky Gervais. I always used to say Michael Jordan, but so many people say Michael Jordan, I'm always taking him off the list. It's really hard, isn't it? I should have thought of this before.
Yeah. Maybe like
David Attenborough probably would be another one for me.
Yeah. Not Steve Irwin.
Yeah. Am I allowed 4?
No.
Well, we could go with those 3 for now.
All right. Well, just quickly.
Ricky Gervais to lighten the mood on this side.
Who's had a bigger impact in wildlife? David Attenborough or Steve Irwin?
Don't like what's happened here. Have been reversed on me. I would say, Attenborough, for the sheer amount of time. Like, he started in the 50s, didn't he? And he's just. Oh, that sounds bad, but they've both been huge. They're probably the 2 main.
So you're saying Attenborough?
I feel like now, from your response, I'm wrong.
No. It's one of those, isn't it?
I grew up watching Steve Irwin.
Who's had a bigger impact on wildlife in the world? Attenborough or Steve Irwin? Like, how do you answer that?
Put Pollard for that, but I don't even know if I want there to be a winner there. They've both been. It's like,
Well, Attenborough's been up since the 50s to now. Steve Irwin was only had about 6-7 years.
Is Steve Irwin more global?
I'd say so.
Because I know a lot of Americans that have heard of Steve Irwin. It's like, as you know, Steve Irwin. Whereas David Attenborough, a lot of people have said like the British guy that maybe that's a British thing more so. I don't know. That could be very wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Attenborough is definitely global as well.
Yeah.
I think I'd say Steve Irwin probably reaches more countries than Attenborough though. I mean, it's kind of like the David Beckham effect. I mean, everyone knows who David Beckham is all around the world. So I think that's the same with Steve Irwin.
Well, he's your third guest, David Beckham.
Nah.
Man United fan.
He used to come to the zoo as well,
Has he?
Yeah. He used to come up with his kids back in the day.
Who was it that was there when... I think I'd come the day after to help. I think it might have been like Megan Fox or something.
Yeah.
The gym.
Yeah, what
the
weird...
gym, the zoo. You've had quite a few
Yeah.
Celebs, what draws them to Hertfordshire Zoo?
Just
Is it the experiences?
no, I don't really know. It's just a good location, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, good value for money.
From London. Yeah, it's great value for money. I would go. I'd go if I could.
Good dinosaur, good sort as well. Yeah, no, that Megan Fox, it was weird. They were like, Megan Fox thing. I was like, as in Megan Fox. I was more excited because I'm a big Machine Gun Kelly fan.
Oh, really?
With his music, like his new stuff, like
so
the pop punk sort of side of it. So I was like, is MGK there? And they're like, mate, it's Megan Fox. And I was like, yeah, it's MGK there.
Is he there?
Yeah.
That is mental.
He wasn't there. It was just Megan Fox. But that's still cool.
It's still great. And David Beckham, that's...
Yeah.
And David Attenborough. You've had some good people there.
Yeah, Harry Kane. A lot of footballers come up. Yeah.
Oh, this is quite close to...
Yeah, like North
you're
London.
a Tottenham fan, aren't you?
Man United.
Oh.
Wow.
Who's a Tottenham fan?
My brother Ty.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well, I'm an
poor
Arsenal fan,
guy. You're an Arsenal fan?
Yeah. Well, then again, my housemates always say to me, Calvin, so I'm like I was a rugby player, I'm an Arsenal fan. I used to like Thierry Henry, and that's what I still support.
Yeah.
But I've been to one game.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a plastic fan. But,
that's right. I'm a Man United fan, man, from Hertfordshire or London. That's where most Man United fans come from.
That is true.
So I can't really say much, to be honest with you. I should really support Spurs, but I don't.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, Spurs. I mean,
It's tough go.
I do look at my brother and think, oh, mate.
It's attrition. It's an attritional job supporting Spurs. But mate, really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming down.
Thanks.
And catch up again sometime soon.
Yeah, no, mate. Thank you very much for having me on the podcast. Really appreciate
No
it.
worries. Take it easy.
Cheers, mate.
It's a long table.
Yeah,
Long
it's
table
massive.
handshake.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're tall. Otherwise, I'd have been buggered.
Perfect. And lovely.